Hello everyone and welcome to another game. So we're up against a Zerg player here, and guys, I actually found a replay of a Zerg player going for that roach rush off of the one base with the burrow thingy. Yeah, I actually found one. And for those of you who have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, last game I actually went into detail about how I liked going for CC first, or there was a period of time where I liked it. And then I stopped just because I wasn't comfortable dealing with some of the reactions that the opponent can doing. So the first thing that I talked about was if your opponent tends to drone scout and scouts your CC first, one of the best reactions to a CC first is just throw down a proxy hatchery and block it. This is so annoying and it's so uncomfortable to deal with. Behind this, a Zerg player would probably grab his natural and of course his third. But the real damage is that you have oversaturation for a very long time, and you can't take down the CC or the proxy hatchery because you don't have the firepower. So it can be like 7 or 8 minutes before you can actually clear the hatchery and then get your own expansion down. Then there's also the creep, which has to recede and blah blah blah. Lots of annoying things that I just don't have to deal with. Arguably, you could probably try to flip the CC into like a sneak, a third, or some other location. Try to get mining from there, but it's still not something that I'm comfortable with. The other thing, the other thing I'm not comfortable with dealing is the build that my opponent is doing right now. It is it's a roach play off of one base, and it's really particularly powerful. Now, this wasn't available in Wings of Liberty just because the burrow research here required layer check. Now that Heart of the Swarm is out, you don't need layer check. You just can do this during hatchery check. And against CC first, this sort of build that our opponent is doing is a pretty nice counter to it. It's not necessarily the best counter, but it does prevent the CC first from, uh, it does have the potential of doing a lot of damage. Now, the burrow itself is not the problem because you have two CCs, you have ample scans. The problem is that you don't have units out. You have maybe 3, maybe 4 marines, and already your opponent would be able to burrow, and once they're burrowed, the roaches regenerate really fast. You don't really have the firepower behind the marines to deal with that. What you would need to do instead is either get a tech lab and go for marauders, or most commonly try to go for tanks. And the race to tanks is a bit tricky because, well, you would need to just get the gas first, and then research factory, get the tech lab for the factory. You normally can't make barracks build the tech lab just because you need marines. And then you would have to get your tanks out, and the race to tanks would have to be up against the race to roaches, because once your opponent has 15 or 16 roaches, enough to like two-shot the supply depots, your wall off is in trouble. And if you take too many SCV losses, well then you die. Right, and this is really the big problem that I was having, or that I had trouble dealing with when I was having the CC first. CC first is still a really good build. I still recommend using it, but be careful on ladder, and try to use it on big player maps and 4-player maps. Really good. And you can see right now, this didn't really do damage. I mean, if you look at the income, he didn't really get many workers, and he sacrificed a lot of his workers to be able to go for this sort of aggression. And what did he get from it? Lots of overload losses. Lots of overload losses. And also some roach losses. I'm going to just put some pressure just because I don't want him to try and drone up. I'm going to force some army units out of him. Right. I'm just fast forwarding because this part is not important. If you can survive the attack, you're good, because your opponent sacrificed so much into the burrow tech and the aggression that he just cannot have much to follow this up with. We're going to continue attacking. Behind this we have +1, we're going to get a third CC, we're going to get more barracks, we're going to get lots of stuff. Behind this, what does our opponent have? Reduction. Right, so he's getting more roaches to defend and just now trying to get his third up. And just barely saturating the second. Natural. And he does clean up everything, but because of the attacks, he has to continue making army units. We, on the other hand, have a huge worker advantage, and we have triple mule now. Behind this, we also have stim. We have +1/+1. We have, or we're close to having medevacs. And we have the barracks to build marauders. So we're in a really good shape. What does our opponent have in terms of tech? Well, he's getting lair. That's good, but that's it. That's all he has. And we're going to continue forcing our opponent to respond to all of our aggression. And we also took our third, and this is probably the in-game, well, I mean, the game kind of ended the moment he didn't do damage, and it's important to realize, even if you're going for a CC first, you're in okay position as long as you get the tank out and you haven't taken too many CV losses, because he just doesn't have anything. Production, does he have any attack on the way? Right, so just now starting +1/+1, we already have +1/+1, we're getting +2/+2, and he's trying to get the Glial Reconstitution. They're trying to transition out of something, but even now, even with his superior roach count, it's still not enough to deal with our army, and from here on out it's GG. So just guys, remember that even if you are going for CC first, this kind of build isn't necessarily a counter to the CC first. It can be, but just realize that as long as he doesn't have mass roaches and you can get a tank out, you'll be okay. If you can get the tank out, the race to tanks, if you can win that race, you're okay. If you don't, however, you pretty much lose the game. So, yeah, I still recommend going for CC first, especially on larger maps, because, well, it's hard to make the roaches work. And that's about all I wanted to say for this video. So I hope you guys liked it. Hope it was informative. You guys have a great day and rest of the day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye for now.